Hi and welcome back to Down the Shed, me Jason. So here we have my lk-58, no mag, it's unloaded. Now that isn't an electric blowback, that's actually run off the piston. So doesn't drain any extra battery. So you'll see this, what would be a hinge on a real FAL, same here. If you remove both of those, you can slide this entire top section and all this straight off the weapon, revealing the back half, the buttstock and the gearbox. I've Loctited that screw in because that is a major issue. That works loose with the recoil and you then get a loose pistol grip. It actually fell off in my hand on Sunday during gameplay. Also this one here on the buttstock, that gently works loose and you get a loose buttstock. Also there's one inside here. Now you can see the back end of it through the buttstock, and yes, I did borrow a bloody great big screwdriver, but it has no effect. By sliding this top section off, and if you undo these 4 and those 6 screws, you can just take this top rail straight off, and it does make it easier to get all the bits back in when rebuilding it. I will do a future video actually taking this top rail off, taking the front section off, revealing the gearbox and showing how to take the barrel out. It's a cinch once you have this thing. Since I've took it to bits, it does lock open a lot easier. Before you really had to wrench that in there, and now you can just lock it in with your finger. You really had to wrench it in there, but now when you do that, it reveals the hop up. So just release as so. Yeah, so since I've Loctited that one in, it did tighten it up, but the top here still had a bit of movement on it. Since I've had this in 2 parts, I've gone in with an Allen key just in behind here and tightened that top bolt up, and as you can now see, that is actually as tight as a duck's arse. There's no wiggle there, no movement. The same with the pistol grip. There's no wiggle, there's no movement. So I think it's a Jing Gong. SA-58, lk-58, FAL. If you do buy Jing Gong, especially with one that's got recoil on it, it's gonna work things loose. So I would suggest if you buy one of these that you get some Loctite screw thread lock or thread locker. Take that screw out. Now there's a hinge on there, but you can just pull the pistol grip straight off, but the trigger guard will come off, so you have to put that back. That's just, you take that screw out, you put some thread lock on it, you put it back in nice and tight, and forget about it. Same with this one. Take it out, thread lock it, get it back in nice and tight, forget about it. And take these 2 side screws out, slide the whole thing apart, tighten that one in there. Now I'll put a picture of the bolt inside here, the Allen bolt that you need to tighten up, so you can see a picture of it, and there'll also be a picture on my extremely messy workbench of this in 2 halves, and I think it'll have the top cover off. And there she is, she's got her laser on there, red dot, and torch. I will be getting the new, I broke that, I had a sling failure, the rifle fell to the ground. You can see the sights took a bit of the damage. There was a tiny bit on the front sight, but nothing significant. It did help loosen that pistol grip a bit more. But that rail has been fitted on, screwed through, but this one I had to glue and screw, and when it fell, it didn't do it any favours. So I might refit it once more, glue and screw. But I am going to order and purchase, if my people at White Spare can find one. If not, I'll have to look for it on the internet, for the front stock with rails already included on it. So then it'll be a bit more, I might put the under barrel grenade launcher on it actually. My mate's just got one and I do like it, and it would make it look a bit meaner. But for the time being, this is what it looks like. So these two screws come out on each safety selector. Goes down to automatic a lot easier than it does to safety. I find if you go down and then come back one, you find semi-auto a lot easier. Otherwise it's a mess around trying to go from safe to semi. You can do it like that, but just go down, come back one. Job done. So yeah, cracking weapon. It's about 320 FPS. It's basically a short FAL. 400 quid. In fact, at the moment it's about 500 quid cheaper than an FAL. This was 240 minus 10% discount, was 216. FAL at the moment is about 770 if you can find one. So yeah, I do love this gun. Another thing with this weapon actually is it's only designed to take yay bigger battery. In fact, it comes with one the same as this, but just a different colour. That's as big a battery as it can take. There are two screws, one there, one there. If you take those other two screws out, take the buttstock off, remove these two screws here, you can take out this plastic panel that stops the battery going in any further, and literally just open up the entire buttstock to take a battery. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's an 8.4. By taking out that inner plastic battery compartment, I'd be able to get my old nunchuck style that I swapped with my mate in there and have a 9.6. So it'll probably fire just a little bit quicker and harder. So it'll be interesting to see what it chronos as with a 9.6 battery. A few little marks that need coming off where it's been dropped and knocked over and everything recently. Took some abuse yesterday, or Sunday rather, getting dropped once and bits falling off. But she's now as tight as a drum. I absolutely love this gun and can't wait to get it back out on the field on the 18th to test out how well my tightening up modifications have gone. The only one that's going to let me down if it does is the one in here. But as I said, now two screws. In fact, let's just literally just unscrew these. So that's two. Now bearing in mind on the real weapon, that would be your strip down or take down lever, and this would then swivel open on these in the real world. In this world, why ain't that coming off? That should just come off. There we go. So by taking those two out and sliding that off, we end up with this. So if you can see in there, this is what cycles the blowback. So the piston basically goes back, pulling that lever there, cycling that lever. This is why I said it's easier to take the top cover off. That cycles that lever, which then activates the blowback. There we go. So as you can see, lift that lever up and that comes forward. So that lever there, or that basically fits inside that groove there. So every time it cycles, it recoils. So basically by taking that system there out, or taking that bit off, you can disable the blowback. Which, why would you want to do that? So getting back to this part of the gun, as you can possibly now see inside, let me find a source of illumination. There we go. So you see the big Allen bolt in there. That Allen bolt, that's the one that needs to be tightened. And when I say tightened, tighten the bejesus out of it. That will stop this buttstock becoming loose. and a pain in the arse. And same with that pistol grip. Loctite thread lock, Loctite thread lock. I strongly suggest you do that. So if you need to get the gearbox out, there are other videos. I'm not going to take it out for no reason because I don't need to. So let's try and put the weapon back together as it is. I can see this being a right pain in the arse. Okay, so we're going to take the top cover off. Okay, so we've got all the 10 screws out. We can just take this part off. Again. Get this all pushed back in. So we don't want this coming out because it's obviously part of this. The barrel can go back in. So what we need to do now is get this bit located inside the gearbox, inside the weapon. So we'll take this half, we'll balance that on the table, we'll turn this so it's facing down, and we'll try and balance it all back together. Question is, how the flip did I do it earlier? So I'm going to do all that again just to see if we can get it back together again. Right, so dust cover's in place. We're going to get this we're going to pull that up and pull it into there, relocate the dust cover in there, and there she slid in. So as you can see, if I cycle that now, locks up, snaps back. So what we need to do now is put in the two side covers, or side screws rather. So we'll just do a finger tight for a minute. And that is pretty much back together. So let's sling this battery in. Let's get a look at those working parts. So if you want to get to the gearbox, there are other videos on there. I've shown you how to get to the gearbox. I'm not going to show you how to take it out because I don't intend going that far. Unless I absolutely have to or upgrade it. There we go. So as you can see, every time that piston cycles, it sends that, catches that and pulls the so if you wanted to deactivate it, I'm guessing you could just undo the two screws on here, take this part off, and then basically you won't cycle the bolt carrier. I'm guessing you'll still be able to lock it open to get to the hop up, but that'll be about it. But I do like the recoil effect. So that's basically how to strip down the main part of the gun to get to the barrel. So the barrel, once you've got the two halves, the barrel just slides out. Turn this upside down, otherwise the barrel will catch this. But then the barrel slides straight out so you can get to your hop up and everything. And then to replace, thank you, we put that back on, 4 screws that side, 6 screws that side, and we are back to the SA-58 FAL. So I'm going to put all these in. You click the like button and subscribe to the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you haven't, why not? It's free, you know. And I shall see you in the next video. There we go, that's better. So now they're all going in. And our rifle is back ready for the next skirmish on the 18th of December. And I'm not going to reveal my Christmas costume until then. So until the 18th, or whenever I do my next video, see you later.